What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got our Week 16 NFL game picks, outright versus the spread, along with our locks of the week, so make sure to tune in. If you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear it in the comment section. You agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have. We will do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's get right into it. Now, before looking at our games, I do want to highlight OddsJam once again because it continues to be the place that I use for all of my NFL betting research. And honestly, whether it's the NFL or any other sport out there as well, OddsJam has everything you could want, from live line shopping to knowing you are getting the best odds to maximize your profits. OddsJam is the place for all of that. And whether you're a beginner or an expert, take advantage of OddsJam's betting tools, like their positive EV tool, which shows you line discrepancies so you know you're getting the best odds, essentially a mathematical edge and guaranteed money in the long run. Or their arbitrage tool, which gives you equal and opposite bets for a risk-free return. Link in the description, so make sure to check them out there. But with that in mind, let's kick it off with the first game of the weekend, Atlanta at the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is a game where, honestly, I'm really liking the spread here on the side of the Atlanta Falcons. Lamar Jackson still banged up. The Baltimore Ravens just not healthy at this point in time. Now, we did see our first look at Desmond Ridder last week. Didn't really look all that great. I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, less than 100 yards passing. But the rushing attack was kind of able to get it going. Now, I don't expect Ridder to light the world on fire here or do anything special, take a huge step forward. But I just think that this is going to be a run-oriented type of game where the Ravens aren't going to do anything all that special offensively. It's just going to be J.K. Dobbins and all those rushers. And then for the Atlanta Falcons, a similar type of situation. So while I do think the Baltimore Ravens are the better equipped team, the better coach team, even at the quarterback position, even if it's by a little bit, I think they have the advantage there. So I will go with the Baltimore Ravens to win outright. However, on the spread, the Falcons getting plus 6.5, I feel like that's a big number, again, especially since what we've seen from the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson out. So I'll be riding with the Falcons on the spread. Then we go to the Detroit Lions at the Carolina Panthers. So this is a game where the Detroit Lions, man, they have gotten hot at the right time. They've got a glimmer at a playoff shot here, but they need to continue, piling up wins. I do think it can happen here versus the Carolina Panthers. We saw the Panthers last week, versus a very, very subpar Steelers team, struggle to get it going. But look, I still maintain that Sam Darnold is the best quarterback option that they have on the roster. It's just tough when, for example, your rushing attack can't get it going, which was what was, kind of working at certain points in time when they got a couple of victories in prior weeks. But Deonta Foreman has been nowhere to be found. Chuba Hubbard can't get it going either. The Detroit Lions have a sneaky good run defense. Now, potentially they can be exploited through the air, but other than DJ Moore, Panthers don't really have all that much there. And then, again, how much can you trust Sam Darnold? While on the other side, the Detroit Lions, they've got Amon-Ra, Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift. As long as Jared Goff plays decent football and on the same level as Darnold or a little bit better, the Detroit Lions should win this game. That's what I'm riding with here. I'm riding with the Detroit Lions outright. The spread, only minus 2.5 in terms of the Detroit Lions. I don't think that's a huge number. I do think they're the better team. I will take the Lions on the spread as well. Then we go to the Buffalo Bills at the Chicago Bears. The Bears, big underdogs at plus 8.5. But at this point in time, it's a situation where they're extremely banged up. There's people wondering if, the Bears are even going to put Justin Fields out there because there's nothing really to gain at this point in time. All his offensive weapons, especially at the wide receiver position, banged up. The defense completely decimated as well. Buffalo Bills still have something to play for here in terms of seeding in the AFC. I think this is going to be a game where the Buffalo Bills can cruise. Yes, the Bears they looked legitimate last week versus the Eagles. They hung in there, but I don't think we're going to see that here versus the Bills. Two types of those games in a row. The Buffalo Bills defense also quite good. At a certain point in time, Justin Fields just is going to need more help. I think the Bills ultimately pull away. I will take the Bills outright to win. And then I think as the game progresses, they can hit that -8, win by 9, 10 points. So give me the Buffalo Bills on the spread as well. Afterwards, New Orleans Saints at the Cleveland Browns. And boy, oh boy, I think this is going to be one of the uglier games of the week. I mean, with good reason. You see the over-under around 31, 32 points. These two teams, as of late, have not been scoring a bunch. I mean, Deshaun Watson, since he made his season debut, this Cleveland Browns offense has seemingly taken a step back. Now, again, Watson pretty much hasn't played in 2 years. The chemistry not necessarily there. But either way, I think that this is going to be a game where it's just Nick Chubb versus Alvin Kamara. And, to me, the New Orleans Saints haven't been utilizing Kamara the best possible way. Andy Dalton, I think that he's mistake prone. I think Deshaun Watson is a bigger X factor. I think Nick Chubb in that rushing attack is better. I think that their weapons with Njoku, with Amari Cooper, with Donovan Peoples-Jones are better. It just, are they going to be utilized? That's the big question here. I tend to think that, again, all of that is going to equate to a Cleveland Browns victory. I am taking them outright. But I will say at +3, with how low scoring of a game this could be and how, bad the Cleveland Browns have been offensively. I mean, just like putting up between 10 and 15 points, if they don't get help from their defense, I actually think the New Orleans Saints on the spread, if you can tease that to +4, +5, are not a bad bet there. Then we go to the Seattle Seahawks at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are 10-point favorites at home, huge number. And when you consider that they're just coming off a barely, overtime needed win versus the Houston Texans, are you kidding me? A little bit shocked to see that spread there. Sure, they're very good. The Seattle Seahawks have taken a step back. Kenneth Walker probably not going to play. Tyler Lockett isn't going to play. So it's kind of bare offensively for Seattle, but I think they can hang in there. That that -10 number is pretty large. The Chiefs, again, defensively, they've been letting opponents stay in games, whether it's the Broncos, whether it's the Texans. They need to figure it out here, because if they want to make a playoff run, that defense needs to be on the same page as the offense. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. I mean, they've got Mahomes, they've got Kelsey, they've got Jerick McKinnon just playing great at the running back position as a pass catcher, Juju Smith. So I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs to win outright, but on the spread, that -10 number, big. So I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks there. Afterwards, New York Giants at the Minnesota Vikings. Talk about a comeback for the ages. In fact, the biggest comeback in NFL history. The Vikings down 33-0 versus the Indianapolis Colts last week. They come back, they win that game. So now they get to face the New York Giants, who, again, I've been saying it for a while, they're not as good as their record would suggest. I said that early in the season. Now you can make the same case for the Minnesota Vikings. I totally get it, but I think they're better than New York Giants. I mean, they've got the advantage at the quarterback position. And then wide receiver, it's not even close. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, TJ Hawkinson, they actually utilize their pass catchers. For the New York Giants, it's Saquon Barkley and then, one big play to Darius Slayton, something like that. The Giants defense probably a little bit stingier. The Vikings can be exposed. I think somebody like, a Slayton, a Richie James can have some success, but at the end of the day, I just think the firepower that the Minnesota Vikings have is going to be a little bit too much. I'm going to go with Minnesota here at home to win this game, -3.5. Not that big of a number. Again, I just don't believe in Daniel Jones and the Giants offense, so give me Minnesota on the spread as well. Then we go to the Cincinnati Bengals at the New England Patriots. Look, right now, horrible loss for the New England Patriots last week on that lateral fail at the end of the game. But despite that, I just don't think the New England Patriots are all that good. It starts at the quarterback position, and then you look at the weapons that Mac Jones has. They're not all that great. Defensively, they have some issues as well. After Tom Brady left, it's been that kind of, type of deal with them. While for the Cincinnati Bengals, they have a chance to, be the number one seed in the AFC. They do need some help, but they've been playing very well as of late, and I have to go with them here. The spread doesn't feel all that big. I realize the game is in Foxborough, but -3 for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they can win by 3, 4, 5 points, something like that. You've got, Joe Burrow, who's playing very good, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Boyd. Joe Mixon needs to get a little bit more involved like he was at earlier points in the season, but all those things I think are a victory type of formula for the Cincinnati Bengals. You can only slow them down so much, and I think the Bengals are going to pull away as the game progresses. Give me Cincinnati outright and on the spread. Afterwards, Houston at the Tennessee Titans. This one's really interesting, and history, at least this season, suggests it shouldn't be. But the Tennessee Titans right now, Ryan Tannehill done for the season. Malik Willis is going to be the quarterback for them for at least short term. We'll see if he makes a reappearance in the playoffs. But, Willis hasn't been all that great when he started. So that's why I'm a little bit skeptical here. Sure, Traylon Burks is expected to come back. But again, I think this is honestly going to be just a Derrick Henry heavy type of game where they're not going to ask Malik Willis to do all that much. So that's what I anticipate here. But man, with Malik Willis, I think the Houston Texans can take advantage of that, kind of keep this game close. I actually don't mind the Houston Texans at plus 3.5. If ever the Houston Texans could get a little bit frisky and get a upset over somebody that they shouldn't, I could see it being this week. I'm going to take the Titans. I do think they're still the better team, but the Texans on the spread there. Then we go to the Washington Commanders versus the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to go with San Francisco here. We'll see. I mean, maybe this will be a little bit of a newer challenge for Brock Purdy, but he's been playing very well as of late, been a very good game manager. How much of that has been, the coaches setting him up for success? That's definitely been the case. And then Christian McCaffrey doing his thing. George Kittle being involved. Deebo Samuel's still not going to play, but you've got Brandon Ayuk there as well. For Washington, Heineke does have more experience at the quarterback position. You've got Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson playing very well. Jahan Dotson coming back from his injury, kind of reemerging as well again at the wide receiver position. But I do think the 49ers with their defense are the better squad here. Give me San Francisco to win this game outright. However, I could see Washington making this a ugly grind out type of situation. They're getting +7 on the spread. I'm going to ride with that actually here. I think Washington getting +7 isn't all that bad. Then Philly at the Dallas Cowboys. The big news, Jalen Hurts injured. So it's going to be Gardner Minshew for the Philadelphia Eagles. The big question is for how long. But what we do know is it's definitely going to be versus the Dallas Cowboys. So you get Dak Prescott versus Minshew in Dallas. I mean, the Cowboys last week, just bad luck, overtime loss on a pick six. But I think potentially here they can get a steal of a victory versus Philly, who is hurt right now. And again, take advantage of the absence of Gardner, or I should say Jalen Hurts. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to win outright. They do have a very cohesive offensive unit with Pollard, Zeke, CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz. So you've got the pieces there. Defensively, they're stingy as well. The question is here, what do you do on the spread? I think the Eagles can hang in there. It's a divisional clash as well. I'm actually going to ride with them on the spread, but I do tend to think the Dallas Cowboys ultimately pull out this one. Then the Raiders versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look, I know the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming off a nice victory, and the Raiders shouldn't have won their game versus the New England Patriots, but I don't agree with them being underdogs at +2.5. I know the game is in Pittsburgh and that the Raiders just find different ways to lose games, but offensively, I think they're the better team. I just don't believe in the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh. If it's anything that's going to win this game, it's going to be a combination of Najee Harris and the defense. And I do think, again, the Raiders with Josh Jacobs, with Devontae Adams, them getting some of their other pieces back like Renfro, Darren Waller, they should have the advantage at the quarterback position with Carr as well. I'm going to ride with them. They're underdogs here, but I like them outright and then obviously on the spread. Then we go to the Green Bay Packers at the Miami Dolphins. I'm going with the Miami Dolphins here. They are at home. The Packers, they played the LA Rams last week. It was a very ugly game. The Rams, one of the worst teams in the NFL right now with all their injuries. The Packers, I mean, you could make the case that if it was anybody else, they would have struggled to win. I don't understand how they're only underdogs but by plus 3.5. They've looked very bad versus, I mean, teams with winning records, those type of deals, or above average teams, which I do think the Miami Dolphins are. Tua, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, I think they're going to have a lot of success versus the Green Bay Packers. Same with Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson at the running back position. So while maybe the Green Bay Packers can get some points here, I just think that at some point, like we've seen all season long, they're going to lose steam and they're going to be playing catch up, and Rodgers is going to struggle. There's going to be turnovers. Give me the Miami Dolphins to win this game outright, and minus 3.5. Not that huge of a number. I like them on the spread as well. Then we go to the Denver Broncos at the LA Rams. For the Broncos, Russell Wilson tentatively expected to come back. I think that's a good thing here for them. Latavius Murray also going to play, potentially Courtland Sutton, we'll see. But honestly, I don't even think they need all that much help here. The LA Rams are that bad. Baker Mayfield, we saw he's pretty much struggled all season long. The rushing attack, non-existent. The offensive line, tons of issues. The wide receivers, non-existent. The defense, banged up. You get the point. I know the Denver Broncos aren't very good, but they'll probably steal a win here. Give me the Denver Broncos to win outright. The spread minus 2.5. That's really where it gets tricky, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I think they've got a stingy enough defense. They can force a couple turnovers, and they can win by at least 3 points. Give me Denver on the spread. Afterwards, Tampa Bay at the Arizona Cardinals. I do like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here because the Arizona Cardinals down to their third string quarterback. The defense, it's kind of non-existent. The rushing attack, I think, is going to struggle versus this Tampa Bay defense. And then the wide receivers, they've got good wide receivers, but when you don't have a good quarterback, that only does you so much good. So Tampa Bay here, I think they're going to bounce back. I think they're going to, plain and simple, get a victory versus a very bad team at the moment. So Leonard Fournette, Rachaad White, I think, are going to take a lot of pressure off of Tom Brady here. He's not going to have to throw it 50 times. I like the Tampa Bay Bucks to win this game and to cover that minus 7.5 as the game progresses. And then finally, the LA Chargers versus the Indianapolis Colts. The big news here, Matt Ryan benched again, so now it's Nick Foles. Obviously not Ellinger. That didn't work out well. So a situation where you got a new quarterback, and you're facing the Chargers, who do a very good job of playing down to the level of their competition. But I tend to believe here, with Jonathan Taylor also on IR, with a new quarterback, it's going to, the Colts can only do so much. Let's be honest here, folks. They've been one of the biggest disappointments of the year. I'm going to go with the LA Chargers. I do think it's going to be a close game, which is why, as crazy as it sounds, I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts on the spread. But at the end of the day, Austin Eckler, Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, give me the LA Chargers to win this game outright. But with that, we wrap up our pick'ems. Now looking at our locks of the week, let's start with the Buffalo Bills versus the Chicago Bears. Simply put, right now, the Chicago Bears are very, very banged up. They're kind of, I feel like, playing for draft capital. The Bills still have a lot to play for on their end. Give me the Buffalo Bills to win that contest. Then Seattle versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I like the Kansas City Chiefs here. They're at home. I don't think they're going to win by that much, as the spread indicates, but the Seahawks are banged up at important positions. Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker. So give me the Kansas City Chiefs to win that game. And then I also really like the Cincinnati Bengals versus the New England Patriots. I just think right now the Patriots, this is a game where they're going to have to air it out. That is not their strength. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals to win that game. And then finally, Tampa Bay Bucks versus the Arizona Cardinals. Again, the Cardinals down to their third string quarterback. The Bucks, they do have talent here, and I think the Cardinals are one of the worst teams in the NFL at their current state. Give me the Bucks to win that game. But with that, we wrap up our Week 16 NFL games. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section, did you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have? We'll do our best to answer them all. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.